Hey gamers, welcome to my game room. AJ from Rolling with the Rock here, continuing Kingdomino week with part 3, Rock Reviews, Kingdomino Age of Giants. Designed by Bruno Cathala and published by Blue Orange Games. Before we get into the review, I really hope that everybody is enjoying Kingdomino week. I greatly appreciate all the views, the likes, the comments, and the subscribes that we have gotten so far. I'm really trying to make that push to 100 subscribers, so if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. It's going to help me a ton, and I do greatly appreciate it. I have a lot more content planned over the next coming weeks, and I hope you're excited for it. If there's any specific game that you see behind me that you would like a review done for, please put it below and I will try to work on that to the best that I can. With that said, we'll go in and talk about Kingdomino Age of Giants. Kingdomino Age of Giants is a pure expansion. Unlike Queendomino, which was a standalone expansion where it could expand Kingdomino or be its own game, you must have either Kingdomino or Queendomino to play Kingdomino Age of Giants. It is for 2 to 5 players and adds about 5 minutes of gameplay for either game, Kingdomino or Queendomino. Inside the Kingdomino Age of Giants box are a couple of different components. The first thing is a tower with a giant on the back. So this is different from the other tower. It did not have this giant here. But other than that, that side is the same and its function is the same. You put your domino tiles into the tower and this allows you to dispense them without having to just place them in the box. Another thing that comes are these challenge tiles. So you have a bunch of different challenge tiles. Each one does a little different things. This one you have to have mountains around your starting tile. This one you get points if you do not discard any tokens throughout the game. This one is 10 points if you have your starting tile in the very middle of your kingdom, and so forth. And then you have tiles that have giants on them, which will lose you points or keep you from scoring points, as well as high point tiles that have lots of crowns on them that also have footprints. And those footprints allow you to send giants from your kingdom to a different kingdom. And then lastly, you have your giants, and you have another castle and another set of 2 kings, so that you can have up to 5 players for a single game of either Kingdomino or Queendomino. Now I want to take you down to the table. I'm going to show you how to set up and play Kingdomino with Kingdomino Age of Giants. Then we'll come back. I'll give you my thoughts on the game, give you my thoughts on the 3 different versions of the Kingdomino family, and give Kingdomino Age of Giants my rock rating. Down on the table, I have a setup for a 3-player game of Kingdomino Age of Giants with Kingdomino. You can put Age of Giants with Queendomino, but I set up with Kingdomino for simplicity. Right here is showing you off the 3 new components in Kingdomino Age of Giants. First off, you get the domino dispensing tower, which if you did not have one already is a great thing to get out of the expansion. You get a bunch of challenge tiles that have different abilities on them. And the 2 that we are using for this setup are if you build any mountain tiles around your starting tile, your castle, you get 5 points. And if you build any grassland tiles in the 4 corners of your kingdom, you get 5 points for each one of those. So each one of those check marks can be worth 5 points. Then you also have these giant token meeples made out of wood, and just as a comparison, they are quite bigger than your king. So they are indeed giants. So those are the 3 new components, and then of course there are new tiles. So I'm going to go ahead and randomly do this. You get, of course, the same setup with your king. You get 1 king per player, your starting tile, your starting castle, and I always just put the extra king inside my castle. So we would flip over the starting 5 tiles. Now, as you can see in Kingdomino Age of Giants, no matter the player count, there will always be 5 tiles on the board. If you are playing a 2 or 4 player game, you remove the middle tile. In this case, since we are playing a 3 player game, we remove the 2nd and the 4th tiles. And what that's doing is forcing players into potential tiles that they may not want. Now, one thing I didn't explain was the letter tiles actually go above the number tiles. So that's why B in this case is above 3. And we actually did get rid of 1 letter tile, and what the letter tiles are they are the ones that have giants on them. So what happens here on the first turn, blue is going to take the crown, pink takes this, and yellow has to settle for a giant. When you get a giant in your board, where actually we'll put out another 5 of these, we have 21, 28, 44, 54, and 34. So this one and this one are automatically gone, and these are our 3 new tiles. When you get a giant, I'm just going to give him another tile that actually has a crown, just to show you. So they have a tile, and they have a tile. Oh, look at that. Yellow would take their turn. When they put this on the board, they have to take a giant meeple and put it on top of one of their crowns. What that is doing is negating one of their crowns. However, if the yellow player chooses this tile with the footprints, and we'll go around and we will select their tiles, just like that. We'll move these over. I'll show you what happens when you get the footprints. 29, 35, C, which is another giant, and 22. So 22 and 35 are gone. And we have C, 29, and 41. So pink will choose this and put that there. Blue will put this over here because none of their kingdoms are looking good because I'm just choosing things. And we'll put this one over here, which is actually great. But they're going to end up with another giant. But what happened was, so I put this tile down. This tile has footprints on it. When you put a tile in your kingdom with footprints, that allows you to pick up a giant in your kingdom and send them to somebody else. So I can send it over to blue, and then blue has to make the decision on where to put the giant. They're going to choose that one in this case. And other than those small changes with the giants and trying to achieve the challenge tiles for the end game scoring, and of course dealing 5 tiles out and getting rid of some instead of the 4 tiles or the 3 tiles you normally would in Kingdomino or Queendomino, depending on the player counts, is you play these the same ways as you would play normal Kingdomino. I did want to point out with the scoring of the giants, so I put a couple extra tiles down just to show you. Just consider this if it was a complete board, which clearly it isn't. But this giant right here is sitting on that crown. Normally there would be a crown and 3 water tiles, so that would be 3 points for that area. But because the giant's sitting on that crown, there is now no crowns, so that is 0 points total. Over here, we have a giant on a crown in a tile of 3, but we have 4 extra crowns. So while there normally would be 5, in this case there was 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 is 12 points. So you can see where sometimes the giant can be, can get rid of all your points, and other times where the giant is just kind of making you lose a little bit. And that's really what the giants do. They are a little bit more of a take that, try to get your opponents to happen into them, so you kind of want to go first more often. You're a little bit more cautious about taking the last turn because you may end up with a giant on the next one. And when you can, getting those footprints by going more often than not going last, because those are the highest numbers, to send those giants to somebody else. And that's how you play Kingdomino Age of Giants with Kingdomino. I'm going to go ahead and come back up off the table. We'll talk about my thoughts on the game. I will give Kingdomino Age of Giants my rock rating, and then I will talk a little bit more about the differences and what I think of Kingdomino, Queendomino, and Kingdomino Age of Giants. Now that we're back up off the table, it's time for my thoughts on Kingdomino Age of Giants. And there are some components to this expansion that I personally enjoy more than others. The first thing is the domino dispensing tower. If you do not have a tower for Kingdomino, you should get the expansion just for the tower. The tower itself is worth the expansion, in my opinion. These are so great for putting your dominoes in and being able to just pull them out one at a time without having to just shove them into the box. I love the towers, and I have 2 of them. The second thing is the challenge tiles. This adds a fun aspect to Kingdomino, and it actually changes up the game every time you play. Even if you just played regular Kingdomino and the challenge tiles, that can be fun. There's different things that you can do. I won't go through every single one, but I do recommend playing with the challenge tiles. The third aspect of the expansion is it gives you a 5th castle and set of kings. So if you only have Kingdomino or you only have Queendomino and you get Age of Giants, you can now play either game with 5 players. And lastly, the final aspect of the expansion, it's called Age of Giants, is of course the giants and the tiles that come along with it, with the giants on the tiles and the footprints on the tiles. Now, myself and my game group are historically not into Take That. So this is the part of the expansion that I'm not as into. However, I completely understand there are many gamers out there who will love the ability to send a giant to another player and make them not be able to score as many points. So this is going to be one of those modulars in the expansion that you may like and you may not like, and that's going to be up to you and your game group to decide what side of that fence you sit on. Personally, if I was to incorporate Age of Giants into my game, I would probably leave the giant tokens and tiles out and just use the challenge tiles. That would be a way that myself and my game group would get the most enjoyment out of our version of Kingdomino or Queendomino in including the Age of Giants. And like I said, I think the expansion is worth it just for the tower if you don't have a tower. So that's my thoughts on Kingdomino Age of Giants, just the expansion by itself. Now it's time for me to give my rock rating for Kingdomino Age of Giants expansion. And while it does have a lot of good components in it that I like, especially the tower and the challenge tiles, the namesake of the expansion is the giant mechanism. And like I said, that's not necessarily something that I, myself, or my game group is entirely into. Now, of course, I completely understand there's going to be many gamers out there that do like that. But for me personally, it does bring it down a little bit in my book. So officially, Rolling with Rock gives Kingdomino Age of Giants a great ball rating. This is not a bad expansion, and it has a lot of good aspects to it. But the giant aspect does bring it down from an Ultra Ball to a Great Ball, in my opinion. And I am probably more likely to play this expansion by excluding the giant mechanism and just using the challenge tokens with my Kingdomino, my Queendomino, or both games together. So we've talked about Kingdomino Age of Giants, and now that this is the last of the 3 rock reviews covering Kingdomino Week, I want to take a moment to talk about all 3 games. Kingdomino, Queendomino, and Kingdomino Age of Giants. To me, the best game out of all of them is Kingdomino. It's simple, it's easy to get to the table, and you can play it very, very quickly. I'm a parent of 2 kids, and finding time to play games has become very difficult lately. So having quick games like Kingdomino is great. Now, of course, adding 5 minutes with Age of Giants or 10 minutes when you play Queendomino isn't much more. So all 3 games are great in that respect. Like, you can play any of these in a nap time or when your son and daughter is drinking their bottle before bed. I prefer the complete simplicity of Kingdomino. Queendomino is close behind it, though. I do really like the town tiles and the buildings where you get to add to your kingdom. Having the queen as extra crown can really ramp up the scoring. And playing Kingdomino and Queendomino together so that more than 2 people can do a 7x7 grid is really fun for me too. Because I think that is my preferred way to play any version in the Kingdomino family, is instead of building a 5x5, doing 7x7. So I guess preferably my best way to do this would be to play the Royal Wedding if I'm playing with more than 2 people and using the Kingdomino and the Queendomino. Now, if I was doing that, and I was going that far, I would add in the challenge tiles from Age of Giants, because I think those are really cool. It gives you a little bit of extra thing to do, and of course, more points. So, officially, Kingdomino, Queendomino, and then Kingdomino Age of Giants, but all 3 are very good. I think you should have them all in your collection, just because they bring something a little bit different, as I said in my previous reviews. Kingdomino, simple, quick, easy to teach, easy to play. Queendomino is the next step for those who may not like super light games. It's still light. It's not super complicated. It only adds a couple extra things, but it makes it, for those gamers who don't like super light, they'll have a better opportunity of liking Queendomino. And then Age of Giants is more for those players who like to send something at their opponent or make their opponent have to take a giant because of where they put their kings on that round. And so each game has a little bit of difference for every type of player out there. And so it ultimately comes down to you. What kind of game do you like? Do you like the super light and simple? Do you like the little bit harder, the couple more things to do? Or do you like to be able to force your opponent to lose points or to send them a giant that's going to help them not score as many points? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below which of the 3 versions you prefer to play the most. Kingdomino, Queendomino, or Age of Giants, or do you put them all together? Please let me know. And that concludes this rock review on Kingdomino Age of Giants, and all 3 rock reviews for Kingdomino Week. However, Kingdomino Week is not over yet. There will still be a playthrough video of one form of Kingdomino. So please stay tuned for that. That will be dropping soon to conclude Kingdomino Week. I hope you're enjoying. If you are, please give this channel a subscribe. Like I said, I'm very, very close to 100 subscribers, and I would love to meet that goal before the end of Kingdomino Week. Like this video, share with your board game friends, or even others you might just think would enjoy this game, and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you would like to see in the future from Rolling with Rock. I hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, and taking care. And until next time, this was AJ with Rolling with Rock.